Hi there everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and I'm a real estate agent and advisor here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with RE/MAX 360 Realty. So today I am going to try not to talk your ear off for 20 minutes. So this is going to be a very short, hopefully, video about which neighborhoods you should be taking advantage of in early 2024. And what I mean by take advantage of is take advantage of the recently lowered rates, because the thing is, come March 2024, April 2024, the housing market in certain neighborhoods in Pittsburgh is going to get very, very, very rough because they're very, very popular neighborhoods. Now, you may know that the recent rates dropped to around 6.5 at best about a week or two ago, and they are likely to remain in the sixes all of 2024. So while you're not going to get a great rate difference throughout the next year, there are some neighborhoods you should focus on during these winter months when inventory is low and competition is likely to be lower than it will be for the rest of the year. So as I stated before, the reason that I'm doing this video is to highlight 5 neighborhoods in the North and South Hills that I think it would be beneficial to take advantage of in the beginning of the 2024 year. It's going to be very difficult to buy in these neighborhoods come spring. It's going to be a ton of competition, hopefully some higher inventory with more confidence in the rates, and hopefully the prices aren't going to get too crazy high, but like, you know, the way this market is, when inventory hits the market again, when sellers get confident, when buyers get more confident in the rates, you're going to see competition. So my expectation is that homes are going to be selling with 5+ offers on basically any house that doesn't need a ton of work or isn't a complete terrible place to live. Let's just put it that way. So before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you know that helping people move to Pittsburgh is my passion. I have a ton of clients that are calling me, texting me, emailing me, asking me, how can I get to Pittsburgh? What neighborhood should I move to? How can I make this process as seamless as possible? And I got you, okay? I got you. This is my life's work. It is my dream. It is my passion. I absolutely love helping people relocate to Pittsburgh. So if you're thinking of potentially moving to Pittsburgh in the next year or so, give me a call at 412-926-0806 or email me at the email below. And if you are thinking of moving within the next couple months, when it's likely to be less competition, you better call me right now, 412-926-0806, because time is running out. So the first neighborhood I'm going to be talking about is Mount Lebanon. How many times have I talked about Mount Lebanon on this channel?
So many times.
Way too many times. I think I talk about Mount Lebanon in pretty much every video, even in videos where, you know, the topic isn't Mount Lebanon. Mount Lebanon is like its own whole deal. Like, it is a vibe. Mount Lebanon is a straight up vibe, especially here in the South Hills, where it is the most popular, well-known community, where it's got the most stuff going on. Your homes are going to run you around $300,000 in Mount Lebanon, maybe a little bit higher on average with the coming competition. So if you can find a home in Mount Lebanon that is a worthy home for your needs in this season, the January, February, March slow season, you got to get on it, because Mount Lebanon is always one of those neighborhoods where even in the slower seasons, there's still a little bit of competition. So if you absolutely must live in Mount Lebanon, and I don't blame you if you feel that you have to, because it's a great neighborhood, you got to get on that horse. You got to start now if you really want to avoid that competition, because it's going to get crazy out there. And there's a lot to rave about in Mount Lebanon. So don't miss out on your small window of opportunity to perhaps get a home at a reasonable price in Mount Lebanon. Second neighborhood that I'm going to be talking about is Dormont. So while it is not as sought after as Mount Lebanon, it still has inventory problems that are probably worse than Mount Lebanon, just because Dormont is a lot smaller and it's more affordable. People feel like they can afford a home there. They feel like it's still a sort of suburban urban environment. It's close to the city. It's got Potomac Avenue. It's got West Liberty Avenue. It's got a ton of shops and restaurants going in. It's finding its revitalization in the last 10 years. Having grown up there and seeing the way Dormont has bloomed and blossomed, it's really a wonderful thing to see, and I think a lot of people are catching on. So it's hard to find a house in Dormont that is that meets your needs, but also that is going to be in your price range. In the last 2 years or so, I'd say, Dormont has really skyrocketed in price, and the lack of inventory in Dormont hasn't really helped anything. So I've seen prices that growing up in Dormont, I never thought that I would see. And so my feeling is if you can get into Dormont whenever there's a bit of a lull in the market, that's going to be best, because any inventory that pops up in Dormont is going to be snatched up fast, and it's going to be snatched up at a higher price than it's ever been, because as I said, this year when the rates go back into the sixes, people are going to be going crazy. And I know that sounds stupid because, oh my gosh, just a couple years ago, the rates were in the 3s and the 4s. The 6s? Yes. After having seen the 7s in rates, people are going to go crazy over the 6s. It's just supply and demand. It's just the way that things are going to shake out. This is the new normal. 5%, 6% interest rates, that's the lowest number we're going to get for a long time. And we're not even going to get into the 5s in 2024, supposedly. So yeah, if you want to move to Dormont, you got to make your move fast. It's going to be very, very difficult to get a house in Dormont in the months coming up in 2024. So be ready for that. The next place I'm going to be talking about is Bethel Park. Bethel Park is a suburb of Pittsburgh that is comparable to Mount Lebanon, but it's definitely got a more suburban feel to it, where the houses are more spread out, the yards are bigger, the lots are bigger, and the houses are typically bigger and a little bit newer. There are very old houses in Mount Lebanon, and Bethel Park is a little bit of a newer community, with I think most of the houses being built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So the one thing about Bethel Park that people absolutely love is the school district. It's a very good school district. They feel like they're living close to the action, where there's stores and there's commerce nearby and there's the mall nearby, but it's not too close to the very, very crowded feel of Mount Lebanon, Dormont, and some of the more city-esque suburbs. So you do get that cute little suburban feel there, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not so crowded. But the homes are, I'd say they're plentiful in general. I'd say there's a lot of inventory in Bethel Park as compared to Dormont, especially somewhere like Dormont. Even still, even though there is a lot of inventory in Bethel Park just because of the sheer size of Bethel Park, I mean, Bethel Park is freaking huge. It's going to be difficult to get a house on your terms in Bethel Park because there's going to be insane competition there. There's just no other way to put it. 7, 8, 9 offers on a house that's done up nicely in Bethel Park. It's just that suburban neighborhood where people feel like they're growing their family, they want a decent sized house, they want to feel like they still have some of their privacy intact, they want to be close to the mall, they want to be close to Washington County, they want to, get out of the city for a little while, and they're not that far away from all the places that would provide them with that nature fix. Bethel Park's going to be that place to go. And, you're going to be pretty much guaranteed to get a garage and a driveway there, which is another selling point. It's not as expensive as Peters Township or Upper St. Clair, so it's got that sort of accessible range to it. Families feel that they can afford Bethel Park, even though the taxes are a little bit high. But because of this, because everybody wants Bethel Park for those reasons, it's going to create a lot of competition. So your best bet, January, February, March 2024, try and get in when the inventory is a little bit more sparse, but you're never really going to run out of homes in Bethel Park. You might just have to buy a home and make it work, make it yours. It might not be done up to the nines, like a house that would go for multiple offers would be in a busy season. The next community that I'm going to be talking about is a community that I've talked about a lot on this channel, not as much as Mount Lebanon. I just did a driving tour of it. It's Ross Township. Check out that video. I'll link it up above. I'll put a little one of those stickers up there so you can access the video, and I'll link it below. but it is definitely a very popular community in Pittsburgh. And one of the main reasons that I'm listing this now is because homes in Ross Township can go for a lot of money. It can be a pretty expensive neighborhood, not as expensive as the one I'm gonna mention next, but Ross Township, it does vary in price. Like there are homes in the 200,000s and very few below that, but they're gonna be smaller houses and they're gonna need a lot of work. I'd say a lot of the houses that are really done up, very nice homes, very big, have all the bells and whistles, they're going to be in the $400,000, $500,000 range. And earlier this year, I sold a house in Ross Township and it was multiple offers and it was very, very, very difficult to negotiate for this house. Even though the rates, I think, were in the fives back then, it was still it was brutal. So, I mean, just from, experience selling there, it's going to be absolute chaos in Ross Township. And I think a lot of people that are moving to Pittsburgh are catching on that is the community they want to be in. They want to be a place where they can get right on the highway and get to where they need to be. And they want to be near this big sprawling mall in McKnight Road. And they want to feel like they have land and they want to feel like they have a big house and they want to be in a great school district, which is the North Hill School District. And they want to be 10 to 15 minutes from the city and not have to go over a bridge and not have to go through a tunnel. That's why the North Hills in general is so popular, but Ross Township is just that sweet spot where it's got it all. It's got the convenience, it's got the homes, it's got the land, the space, the McKnight, it's got the mall, it's got, you can get north so easily, and it's just, wow, what a place to be. I personally love Ross Township. It's somewhere that I will consider moving when I leave the city. But it's gonna be so tough to get a house there and get it on your terms and get it at a reasonable price coming up. So that's why I'm including it in this video, because move fast. I mean, honestly, call me today if you want to move to Ross Township in the next couple months and try to get a house as soon as you can, if you're able to do that. And so the last community that I'm going to mention is McCandless, which is right next to Ross Township. It is more north than Ross Township, and it is a good deal wealthier. I'd say the average home in McCandless probably sells around $450,000, 3 to 4 bedroom homes, 2 bath homes. I haven't done a driving tour of McCandless yet, and I think it's going to be next, but it's sort of the same deal as Ross Township, but it's definitely less accessible to someone making a more average income here in Pittsburgh. I think if you're making an average income here in Pittsburgh, you're probably better off buying in a suburb or a community that has, a little bit more affordability in the houses, because again, these are really pretty big, pretty expensive houses. This is a pretty wealthy area in Pittsburgh, but I'm including it in this list because the inventory is not going to be very large. The accessible inventory in McCandless is not going to be very large. And if you're looking for that more ritzy neighborhood, this is going to be it. If you want to feel like you're living that lifestyle, this is going to be it. But it's going to be one of those communities where I think a lot of people are going to move from out of town and grab up those more expensive houses because it's going to be in their budget, which that's going to create a lot of competition for any of you out of towners looking at it. So I just got to add it in there. It is a bit of a drive, a bit more of a drive than Ross Township to the city, so it's less convenient, but it's definitely got that more almost country feel to it that Ross Township doesn't really have, so it's got that going for it. And then the North Allegheny School District is also pretty wonderful. It's one of the best rated school districts in Allegheny County. So I'd say it's definitely worth looking at if you are looking in the 450 to 650 range, maybe even a little bit higher. There's a lot of mansions there too. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you have any questions about any of the communities I've listed, please give me a call at 412-926-0806 or email me at the email below. You can text my number. You can DM me on Instagram. I would prefer an email or a text, but any way you want to get a hold of me, and I will get back to you very shortly and help you on your journey moving to Pittsburgh. Thank you so much again, and everybody have a happy holidays ahead. See you soon. Bye-bye.